Let's After Dark alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovias. Yeah, the NC State North Carolina game is not over, but it is technically. The buzzer hasn't sounded. We're not at triple zeros yet. But effectively, Giglio, you texted me like, yeah, man, it's not a school night, it's a snow night. Probably get to the drinking earlier because this game's a wrap. And we talked about this after North Carolina went to Durham and lost to Duke in a very similar fashion, as I put on social media. North Carolina did to NC State what a couple of teams have done to North Carolina this year, specifically Duke and Clemson in high-level games. And in those games, we've said, man, that's tough to come back from. That's you can't have that kind of stuff happening. And the same applies to Kevin Keats and NC State. You cannot have games like that in Chapel Hill and expect to come back with the fans. We've seen this before out of NC State. We've seen this before with Kevin Keats at NC State. But against this North Carolina team, Joe, has been very average, essentially on the bubble this whole time. You can't have a game like that.
No, and it's the start. It always gets back to the start. Are you prepared? Is your team ready? Is your team motivated? And, Kevin, after the last couple of games, has played the banner card, has played the appreciate me card. And he has included in playing of that card has been, our team plays hard and the effort's there. And for the most part, I would agree. If you go back to the BYU game, obviously the Louisville game would be more recent. I do agree most of the ACC teams, the team NC State has fought in, but I'm not sure. Do you want a cookie that the effort is there? And maybe this reminds me of the world famous Ruffin McNeil. To me, it was the week before they played. I think West Virginia at the time was ranked.
Yeah.
And he said, I said to him, are you ready for the big game next week? And he goes, they're all big games. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, hey, you don't think Old Dominion's a big game? Try losing. And, it's like getting the backwards logic from Kevin here. Oh, cool. You don't appreciate that our team fights and has effort? Well, let me go over to Chapel Hill and have a first half where we make Carolina look like the 05 Tar Heels in a 54-26 run out by the Heels in this game. And we can get to Carolina in a second. But the only thing that was missing tonight was them honoring the 05 team at halftime.
That would have been nice.
I think the weather, instead they honored my favorite team, the 00 team, by having the snow game. Yeah. And let me get to the best comment of this. This is Charlie. Why don't they make the whole plane out of snow games? Yes. Earlier today on the OG Proper, we told you back in 00, they were on a 4-game losing streak. Ranked Maryland, really good Maryland, Garrett Williams team, comes to town. And fans are allowed to move in, come as you are, kind of like tonight. You didn't need a ticket, just walk up and get in.
Come on in.
It created a great home court advantage for Carolina. That team, that Carolina team ends that 4-game losing streak and ends up in the Final Four. And literally pretty much for the last 15 years, I've wanted them to honor the 00 team. They don't honor Final Four teams at Carolina. You have to win a championship. So here it is. We finally got my gift, the homage to the 00 team tonight.
You got it.
So,
you got
cheers. Cheers to the Tar Heels.
Also, cheers to Two Roosters from Tim on YouTube. I'm just saying, I'm a fan of the sponsor Two Roosters. I'm a fan of winners, and they are undefeated this year. They have saved so much money without a road win and the BOGO.
Hey, in the grand scheme of things, if the money from that budget goes to us,
let's freaking go. As one of our listeners pointed out, that was only the third time that the Smith Center has just been a free-for-all with the students or anybody who could get to campus. As you mentioned earlier, we did a great moments in Triangle snow history. We focused on that January 2000 game, which did lead to some student section changes in the building. On YouTube, somebody with the username Bo Sox and some numbers, he says, I'll confess to having done a tiny bit of research on this, but I believe the original snow game at the Smith Center came in February 18th, 1987. UNC defeated East Tennessee State after they picked up 5 inches of snow the day before. Only about 13,000 people made it to the game, but a good many were students, and they were concentrated in the lower bowl. Despite the game being a rout, the students were going bonkers. He just goes on to talk about some other things like Sam Cassell's comment, 6 years down the road about wine and cheese and everything else. But anyway, it's games like that are memories. They make them special. He said sources, Sports Reference, the National Weather Service, and me as I attended that game. Do
you know who the coach was at East Tennessee State in '87?
Was it Lee Fowler?
No, you like to get mad at me about making everything about NC State, but
Les Robinson. Les Robinson.
It was
sorry. I'm getting my guys wrong. I knew it was one of them. It was whichever the AD, one of the ADs was the basketball coach at that time. All right, as you can.
All right, hit these comments, man. These guys are really good, and I'm happy to see everybody here. So,
all right, what do you want to get to here? We can let's see. From John, can't wait to hear Julio's explanation to defend Keats.
No, there is no defense of this. Just as I had defended Hubert all year up until the game at Cameron, it's your job as the coach, whether you have any NIL money, all the NIL money, or no NIL money. It's your job as the coach to prepare your team to play a basketball game. NC State was not prepared to play basketball tonight, and that's on him. You were in Minneapolis. I had to have the podcast ready. Well, that was my job that day.
Mm-hmm.
Was I great? No, but I had it ready.
That's all you could ask.
I had a hot take on expanding the NCAA. Like, I went into my bag. I had it going. That's called prep. So here we are. You got to have your team ready, man.
But did you run zone at a curious time on Monday's podcast?
And it wasn't the zone. You look at it and
I'm sorry. The setup was right there.
It was, but this actually gets to why State fans don't like Kevin in spite of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When Carolina is down, he has not beaten them.
Right.
That includes the year that Roy, the lost year of 20. Cole Anthony was here, was not here.
Mm-hmm.
They got swept that year by them.
They got swept that year. You got 22 as well.
No, 23. So 23, Carolina's preseason number 1. State had an NCAA tournament team and lost to them.
Yeah.
So that's where Kevin has, and throughout the years, I remember the loss in 20. I remember him calling me and telling me, like, I don't get it. Like, why is everyone so mad at me? And I said, when they run hot, most State fans understand they have a war machine when they know it. When they know it when they see it, right?
Yeah.
But when they're down like this, got to beat them. Especially got to beat them over at the Lenovo Center.
Not only do you have to beat them, even if you I think the earlier, like you said, the game at Lenovo Center, that game came down to the last minute, right? And you that can just become a thing about end of game execution and things like that. It can become part of the story of where North Carolina's year has been, where they've had 10 games that came down to the final possession. And they actually have a winning record in those 10 games. But still, that's been the story of the UNC season. NC State, that game is included in it. So you can lament that they lost and things like that. What happened tonight goes beyond not being able to knock off North Carolina in down years. You and I are in agreement on that. You have to take care of that business. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to lose portions of the fan base, if not all of it. But
that's how Kevin got himself into that situation. Now, my thinking would have been winning the ACC title by beating Carolina last year, and then going to the Final Four would have moved him into a different category. It clearly did not, and this season has not gone the way that anybody has wanted it to go. But I'm going to tell you something, and I know if you're a State fan, you don't want to hear. I'm not. This is just what I told you last year. NC State is not going to fire Kevin Keats. There is not a scenario where they fire Kevin Keats. Okay, short of something ridiculous happening, and by meaning something legal. Okay, they're not going to fire Kevin Keats. They're not going to move on from Kevin Keats. The financial reality, there is a financial reality to it. Okay, that's number one. But number two, you have a new chancellor that's not even in place.
Yeah.
and won't be in place if my timetable read on the hiring process goes until the fiscal year ends. So you're not going to fire a basketball coach, hire a new chancellor, have to go through the house settlement and revenue sharing. The financial reality is you might want Kevin gone. You might, and unless you go to Buch, Oregon with a $15 million check, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean you defend a night like this. That doesn't mean you look at a season like this where they missed the ACC tournament a year after winning it and go, wow, that's great. Rather, you have to assess what the reality of the situation is. He's going to be NC State's basketball coach next season. How do you fix that situation? What's the best path forward? Those are situations that are out of your control. A chancellor retiring, an AD that, quite frankly, has been inactive.
Yeah.
When it comes to hiring and firing, that has been his path. That has been his mo. His mo. So those are the realities of the situation that NC State is in. Be mad. That's what the sports phone is for. Call the sports phone. Curse on the sports phone. Come on the show. Tell me how you're going to defend Kevin. These are all great things for you. But what I'm telling you is what the reality of the situation is.
But the reality of the situation is it might cost you more down the line not to move on in terms of season ticket sales, NIL's drying up, all that kind of stuff. I mean, look, I think that's probably the thing before we take some sports phone calls that I completely understand where State fans are coming from and really where my own disappointment is with NC State and Kevin Keats and really just NC State basketball in general. You had an opportunity to completely turn around the conversation about NC State with that run last year. That was an opportunity to cash in with all the good feelings. I mean, for heaven's sake, it benefited
to build some momentum. Yes.
The amount of bump NC State got by winning the ACC championship and making the Final Four even helped us financially. You see what I'm saying? Like, we helped move shirts with our friends at Breaking Tea, that sort of thing. YouTube numbers were off the charts, all that kind of stuff. I think we probably picked up 2 advertisers because of the run and the visibility that came with NC State. So you're telling me that this podcast can financially benefit from a run like that and parlay that into some more success, but the basketball team can't? And I think that's probably where I'm the most disappointed in what has happened since that Final Four run. Take it, ride it, use the money, make the right decisions. And instead, it has been completely blown. I mean, it has been dropped. The ball has been dropped. And when you add losses like this tonight, I get your points about the financial situations, but State fans do not give a shit about the financial situations. The only thing they care about is not having Kevin Keats be the coach for that much longer. I'm in agreement with you. The Randy Woodson thing, new chancellor, where does Buch, Oregon fit in all this? All that stuff is play out. All that stuff is in reality. And unless Kevin Keats is going to pull a Herb Sendek and decide, hey, man, I don't know if this is worth it. I get the money's good and things like that, but this house stuff isn't necessarily going to help me out. We still got to share it with basketball. I mean, we still got to share it with football. I mean, I know it's something you and I have talked about, and you brought it up. I mean, you might be a coach that might want to be at a school that only focuses on basketball, right? I mean, that might be the play, not to have these like this halvesies stuff where you're trying to maintain a fringe top 25 football program and a basketball program when you're not exactly top tier brand. So these are all things that are in play right now for NC State, and I understand the logic behind it, but I also don't think State fans give a shit at this point.
Now, hold on.
Yeah.
John, listen. Mac Brown, show me his ACC championship. Okay. As you were. Play some calls.
All right.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
Once again, I am not in the studio. Therefore, we are just going to raw dog these calls. This is from a 252.
So here we are. We're about 3 minutes to halftime. We're almost down 30, and we haven't cracked 25. So, Juliet, using your same logic from when Mac Brown came into NC State a few years ago and laid an egg against a rival, you said that in that case, if you don't show up for your rival, you're not playing hard, and you just don't care, you should be fired on the spot. So looking at this right here, we have a bubble team and we have State, and State has just not shown up. So using your own fucking logic, we should fire Kevin Keats in the fucking locker room. But we won't do that. Of course, we have to keep him because he went on a 9-game run. Just fucking suck that.
Maybe that was the YouTube comment guy.
John is active. I like it.
Hey man, curse or don't. All right, this
That wasn't my logic though, but it's fine.
Let's go to a 919. That's a bad line. All right, let's try this other one.
Hello, OG. Wednesday night, 7:53 p.m. 54-26. What's going on? Did State just decide to show up and come out of hibernation and play like this? Or did they get carried away and went to Two Roosters and brought their own ice cream and just decided, well, we've got all afternoon, we're already over here, we'll just start eating ice cream and not show up? This is embarrassing, and this is a joke. And another ACC highlight, go Smoo, another blowout, 50-25. Absolutely amazing. That being said, is UNC raring up and making a run now? I looked ahead, they got Virginia at the Dean Dome on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. They're making their run? Who knows? Thank you as always, and good night.
Couple things to unpack there about the last part about what does this mean for North Carolina. I'm here. I mean, I think even North Carolina fans watch tonight and go, "Damn, that was fun," but I'm not going to advance anything beyond that. I think that's most North Carolina fan reaction to what happened tonight against NC State. They get to dunk on their NC State friends. They get to see they get to rubberneck NC State fans on social media. But I think they also know, they're not in the trust tree when it comes to the rest of the season and really a game of consequence like at the end against Duke. Now, that caller, Joe, did bring up the SMU Notre Dame game. Now, I did not talk about this on Monday. I was not here. I was, watching youth hockey and on my way back from Minneapolis. And I did miss the double whammy of both Kevin Keats and Shrewsbury over at Notre Dame, essentially doing their best to defend themselves and their players, and then they're followed up with these losses, these respective losses, blowout fashion. I don't know what that tells you.
Well, we've had examples this year of Mick Cronin motherfucking his players, and they turn around and lose. Yet that UCLA has figured it out now. Mm-hmm. We saw Rick Pitino question his players' parents, which might have been the highlight of the season for me. We haven't played the clip yet, but Rick Pitino is on this Vice in-season, documentary. It says, "Who raised you to be so soft?" It's classic. I love it.
That's some good stuff. All right.
Oh, but SMU does win. Now, here's the thing about Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
The small ball. If you can have a little bit of confidence, I know you dismissed Withers for the way that he played against Syracuse. I'm not saying you did it like being an asshole. You were just kind of like, yeah, sure.
No, to be clear, I was simply pointing out that Withers was in a long line of individual performances from North Carolina this year that people go, hey, maybe this is the start of something.
Yeah.
Only no, but I'm saying to not be something. That's all I was saying.
If you can figure out a small ball identity, I know it's February 20th. Understand what I'm saying. That's not going to work against Duke. That's not going to work against Clemson.
No.
But bracket luck is the realest fucking thing on the planet. Okay. And I could see them getting to Charlotte. Clemson's never won the ACC tournament. I could see somebody random taking out Duke, and all of a sudden, here come the Tar Heels, and you're going, well, wait, but surely they'll have to beat Clemson. Oh, no,
Yeah.
they're not there. Oh, no, they'll have to beat Duke. Oh, no, they're not there. And they'll play like Stanford and SMU and Wake and win.
Because
And watch,
because
just
those
watch.
because those games have gone easy for North Carolina this year. I mean,
I know, but I'm
I
saying
get what you're saying, but that
if they can wrap their head around this small ball identity, then they might have something. They might.
Maybe. And of course, what you're getting at too is a run by North Carolina. I'm sure there's plenty of North Carolina fans that would hate to see that happen, much like in the way that there were NC State fans that were mad that Keats went on a run last year. These are
Nobody
things that
was
exist.
mad at the time, though. Nobody was mad at the time.
I know what you mean.
Come on.
There were a handful of people that are like, the whole conflicted thing. Like, I'm glad we did this, but damn. Oh, well. Anyway, to a 919.
Hello, OG.
Oh, wait a minute. I already played that one. Let's see. Let's go to this one.
Hey, David from Smithfield. I mean, what did you expect?
What's going on?
I mean, this is normal for us to lose big at halftime. We'll probably lose this game by 25-30. As Coach Keats said, we should just be happy with what we got last year. I mean, we won an ACC title after 40 years. I mean, we went to the Final Four. We should be happy with that every year or so. So, I mean, we just got to be happy at what, when this team can play well, and that's all I can say. I mean, we just got to enjoy last year.
Always enjoy a call from David in Smithfield. All right, let's get to this one from another 919.
What's up, guys? Walking out of the Dean Dome, and honestly, I think I'm too pissed to curse. I don't even understand. I don't think this team practices. I don't think they practice. I don't think they go to class because they play like idiots. And with NC State sports, I think I've just realized that no matter how good things can get, I just need to know they're going to get worse. There's an equilibrium, there's a balance, there's a yin, there's a yang to this. And I think I'm just praying I make it back home to Raleigh because, damn.
There was big Tennessee football energy to this game tonight.
That's fair.
Not that there were any expectations going in, but I saw Ross Martin had tweeted earlier in the week, like, Reese Davis and Jay Billis are randomly doing this game. And I thought to myself, uh-oh. Every time ESPN's A team is in the building, NC State in football or basketball will absolutely shit their pants.
I honestly thought Wes was on the call today for like an ACC network game. And then, because I went texting with him earlier in the week, and he was like, "Oh no, this is Reese Davis, Jay Billis." I was like, "What in the world?" And yeah, it did play out that way. Let's see from Radar Shots. Giglio, don't do this to yourself. I think that's in relation to UNC and bracket luck and everything else.
Oh, making a run.
Yeah, making a run and things like that. This is from Sean.
Again,
I
if you
wish
could find your identity.
Sean's on my level. I wish I could believe we'd get that from Withers and Lubin every game. Again, I think, and I completely understand why North Carolina fans are a little hesitant to put their arms around that. This is from a 336 number.
So I'm calling in now at halftime of the State Carolina game, and I've got to crunch the numbers here. I think that if we just completely abandon men's basketball and football and just pool all of our resources in NIL and facilities and everything into the women's basketball program, we can become the greatest women's basketball program in the country. That's pretty much all we got going for us right now, and I think that might be an option worth exploring. Westmore is definitely the best coach we have, and I kind of think that at this point, it's really the only thing we have to look forward to. So I'm curious on you guys' take on that. Love the podcast. Thanks for listening.
Appreciate the call. Going all in on one sport is, I get that's a level of cope. It's just not really realistic. Now, a real wired take would be, hey, maybe we should just leave this ACC crap and just focus on, a smaller comp. Maybe they'll take us in the Big East. If you guys hit us with that, maybe that would be an interesting way to go about it. This is from a 919.
Hello, G. This is Courtesy Driver calling back to back at 7:55 p.m. I wanted to make a comment about today's weather. And this is a phenomenon that's been going on recently that I've noticed. whatever the precipitation is, during the daytime when it's cloudy, what are you supposed to do? Obviously,
You know what? We'll answer that in the mailbag on Friday. I was a little confused there. I'll save that one. All right, let's go to another 919.
Hey guys, just checking in to see if maybe Georgina Keats can maybe convince Kev to take the Arizona State job. I'd be happy to hear your thoughts. Thanks.
I'm telling you, man. There's a lot of there's a lot of Sendek energy to some of the thoughts coming out of this game. All right, this is from a 704.
Hi, Joe and Joe. So first of all, I did my undergrad at NC State, so I'm an NCSU alumnus. I currently live in the Philadelphia area, so your podcast is my connection with the local sports scene, and I really appreciate that. But while I appreciate your show, I've been really disappointed with the discourse surrounding Kevin Keats. I find that Joe uses straw man arguments like, well, if he isn't winning a championship, we must fire him. And really, I find these statements to be disingenuous. Over 8 years, Kevin Keats has extracted generational wealth while plunging the program into the depths of irrelevancy. And like all NC State fans, I will be forever grateful for the Final Four run. But let's be honest, this is a substantial outlier when you consider his body of work. NCSU is a storied program. They deserve a standard greater than missing the ACC tournament. It's time for Keats to step down.
If this were the Rome show, I would have said, please do not read your takes. But I get it. You wanted to come across as calm, cool, and collective and very, very to the point. So I appreciate the points that were made in that. And yes, I will admit, even I get annoyed at galaxy brain thinking of what's going on at NC State from time to time. Even I get annoyed at that and just simply try to present hey, fans are pissed and I understand why they're pissed. And sometimes you just got to make decisions, even if financially they might suck. But NC State is in a really, really weird spot right now.
Well, there's two different things there.
Yeah.
Number one, you can't say you'll be forever grateful and then fire them the next day. Like that is by definition not forever grateful. Now you're in the Caleb Love tree of forever a Tar Heel for life.
You're a Tar Heel. No. Yeah, no, we will forever thank you for the great memories. It's just get the
that's
fuck
number
out.
one.
It's like that's what it is.
But here's number two. I'm not defending what they did today. I'm not defending what they did this season and missing the ACC tournament. So
yeah,
try to understand that. What I am defending is what you said though about 8 years and plumb this program to depths. That's not accurate. He took the team to the NCAA tournament the first year after Mark Gottfried had put the program in the toilet, right?
Yeah.
Whatever happened in 19, the highest rated net didn't make the tournament. Fine. They beat Auburn, right? Cool. 20 and 21, you got a pandemic. 22, they were bad, really bad. Cool. I get that. 23, they made the NCAA tournament, which again bothers me more than anything else in this whole discourse is how it becomes they only had 9 games. No, it's not true. Last year, it wasn't just 9 games. They lost 5 of their last 6 regular season games. Before that, they were a bubble team. Yes. Mm-hmm. Whatever that is for you, I don't know. But being on the bubble is not bad. Then they win the ACC tournament for the first time since 1987. Then they go to the Final Four for the first time since 1983. They do so, not only pull that off, but they beat Duke in the ACC tournament, beat Carolina in the ACC tournament. Then they beat Duke in the NCAA tournament. So I don't.
But now they're going to be a team that wins the ACC championship only to miss the ACC tournament.
To miss the sure.
So
sure.
I mean,
I
get what
you're
saying. I get what you're saying, but there's also all this other stuff that gets people all riled up, including really, really bad losses like tonight against this North Carolina squad. And yes, they beat North Carolina to win this whole thing. And again, you are forever thankful for those things that happened. But forever a Tar Heel, forever thankful for the.
Put it on your shoes. Put it on your shoes.
Along with Carl Hess while we're at it. Let's see. We got another 919.
Hey guys, watching the State game, second half just starting, watching State get their shit kicked in right now. But just wanted to point out, here's the saddest thing. State is 3-11, getting dominated this game, and there is pretty much no chance Keats is being fired. UNC is a bubble team, kicking our shit in, and there's probably a high chance that Hubert Davis might be fired. And it really just goes to show that schools, I don't want to say different mentality, but also financial ability to eat a large contract. But it's just sad that the team that's getting their shit kicked in knows this is exactly what we're going to be dealing with next year. Love you guys. Smooches.
Smoochy Bookins. Yeah.
No, I don't think there's a high probability that Hubert gets fired. Now, we'll see what he does against Duke in round 2, those games. And these games mean more. They do.
Yeah.
You know? So
the Hubert
that's what
thing,
the disappointment should be.
By the way, and again, everything has their context there. You might not think that Hubert Davis should go next year. You might think, hey man, he should get some more opportunities. But there's enough red flags popping up over the last couple of weeks with what's been going on and how, I mean, we talked about this today on the main podcast, and Hubert's messaging to go along with everything else that's been going on. And I mean, how can you turn like, hey, we're going to get a GM into something that had twisted narratives? It was all very, very confusing. So really what's going on in Chapel Hill, I don't like the signals that are coming out. So I don't think I would not dismiss the idea. That's all I am saying. I would not dismiss the idea that Hubert Davis, given how the more important games like that Duke game go, is very much coaching for his job. I don't think that's something that is hyperbolic to say at this point in time. Let's see, an 864. And again, that to the caller's point, that does show you the different standards that go on in Chapel Hill, the different financial situations in Chapel Hill. I think people should understand those things. All right, this is from 864.
All right. Is it time to get rid of Keats? This is Jeff from South Carolina. I think it's the time to get rid of Keats. Love him. Did a great job last year. This team's terrible.
Okay, that was it. You keep laughing at the, hey man, love you, mean it, but get the hell out.
I love you, but you're gone.
I mean, who's the does it Sting? Doesn't Sting have a song? If you love someone, set them free.
Set them free.
That's all that's happening. He's like, hey man, Keats, love you, mean it. It all worked. I mean, it was great last year, but you know what? We think you'd be happier somewhere else. You know?
After the pandemic, I had to write a love letter to Gonzaga and set them free. I had to tell them.
Maybe
you embarrassed me in front of the governor of North Carolina. I can't stand for that anymore. I have to set you free. So maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe there's a way. But I want to put "Forever Grateful" on T-shirts now.
Maybe that'll be the case. Fire Keats, forever grateful. From ITS, Keats knows he doesn't have a chance for the ACC tournament this year, so naturally he's going to keep that 5-0 streak going this year. Yeah, you're right. You know what? Can't lose a game in the ACC tournament
if you don't play.
If you don't go. From Douglas, I think the issue going forward at this point is okay to look forward. Why should we be optimistic about next year? We don't play our young players. He's going to bring in some mid-level transfers again. I know there was some talk about that with the game out of hand, why they actually don't play the younger players and things like that. But that's a question I'm sure Keats might answer after the game. I haven't seen any of the post-game comments. All right, this is from an 828.
Yeah, make these sons of bitches walk home. I don't give a fuck if there was 15 inches of snow or if there's just a dusting. Make them fucking walk the 15 miles home. They don't deserve a bus ride. Kevin Keats, leave them there. I don't care. Dude, this is unbelievable what I'm seeing. Just to lead our basketball program. We don't even need one. I don't care at this point. Give all the basketball NIL to baseball. Figure something out. Just put me out of this misery.
Wait. Go back real quick, though.
What's that?
Douglas. Let me play the hits for you, sir. College basketball is a year-to-year proposition. As we speak, the coach everybody wants in the history of the world, who I will tell you is the greatest coach in college basketball today, is getting run out of the fucking gym by Mizzou.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the same Mizzou team that last year won 0 SEC games. Mizzou, a little sprinkle dust, a little water, a little weed, a little beer. All of a sudden, Mizzou is 19-6 and on path to be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. So it's a year-to-year proposition. Just as the team NC State was shitty in 22, they made the NCAA tournament in 23. It's a year-to-year proposition.
All right, from a 919.
Hi, this is Joseph in Wake Forest, and I'm sitting here watching the Carolina State game, and I'm just wondering if it's still the year of the Wolfpack, because Carolina's like stomping them, and I'm wondering if Julia went to bed early on this one. Take care, guys.
I mean, technically you are, because we started the After Dark a little early.
That's right. I cheated.
We cheated a little bit, so you can actually go to bed at a decent time. I respect it, man. I respect it. All right. I think this will be our last sports phone call of the night. This is from a 919.
Gilio Ovius, first-time caller, long-time listener here. Appreciate what you guys do over there. Box score, 97-73. A lot to unpack here, right? A lot to unpack. Before the season, we were saying that NC State's front court was the best, if not one of the best, potential ACC front courts of the upcoming season. What an absolute shit show. Guys, I'm going to read you the stat line here. I can't even believe what I'm about to read to you. Ben Middlebrooks, 0 points. 3 assists, which is half of their assists. Make freaking sense. 1 rebound. Brandon Huntley Hatfield, who, big discussion here actually, maybe the biggest bust in the past maybe 20 years of a guy who actually played at State. That's another topic of discussion. 2 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound, guys. Make that make any bit of sense. Combine 2 points from our front court. Kevin Keats is a terrible coach, not because of the offensive strategy or defensive strategy. It's because of the mismanagement of the roster, guys. Clear example here, shooting guard. Your starting shooting guard who averaged 20 points last season, career 3-point shooter, 18%, give or take. Put him on the wing, right? Make him shoot threes. Make that make sense, guys. I think one thing that I saw tonight, I saw Styles get absolutely bodied and won by Trimble. Trimble stood over him like he was about to put it in his ear. Styles did absolutely nothing. The guy has tattoos on his neck. Can you imagine Chris Corciani standing at 5'2", had tattoos on his neck, as big of a bulldog as he was back in the day? If Trimble did that to him, he wouldn't take that. Absolutely not. Oh, God, guys. I can't even believe I watched that entire thing through. Anyway, appreciate what you guys do. The best thing tonight is this cold beer right beside of me. Appreciate you guys.
You got me with the neck tattoo.
Now I'm thinking about Chris Corciani with neck tats.
He would look like Pete Davidson doing the skeet in the yurt.
Cling, cling, cling.
Hey, man, like I said, when we had to clip the other guy who was talking about like religion and his dead cats, please put the neck tattoo. Mark the neck tattoo for calls of the year. That was really good.
Yeah, that was our guy up in Roanoke who goes to Nature's Relief. So yes, that we'll definitely clip that one. And speaking of which, Kelly, did Joseph, did you go to Nature's Relief? Yes, I did. Ken, I guess calling me out, definitely sounding relieved, if you will.
I think they meant one of the callers.
Oh, no. I thought that meant me. It could be because I'm relieved.
You're not Joseph.
Did somebody call in? I don't know.
You're not Joseph.
I'm just running these.
Okay.
Let's see. From Robert. Using the logic of the year-to-year proposition, how can anyone justify firing any coach?
Did you just see? No, I'm only listen, there's ways that I actually think it's going to go the other way. First of all, I think it's going to go the other way. I think you'll see coaches in the contract / revenue sharing era. I think you'll see coaches get shorter contracts and be replaced more frequently because of that reason. But here's what the SEC did last year. Missouri's coach, he went winless in the league. They didn't fire him. They said, here's some NIL money, and look where they are this year. South Carolina and LSU have come out and said this year we are last in the SEC in NIL, and they said we're not firing the coach. We're going to double down on our NIL for next year, and we're going to see what they can do. So that's the thing that NC State. That's the situation that NC State finds themselves in too. Yeah. You're going to spend money, the $10 million to get rid of Kevin and his staff, and then hire a new staff, and then find some extra change in the couch cushions for the roster. It gets really expensive. You're better off spending the money on your roster than you are in firing a coach.
I'm going to close the pod on a Colin Cowherd. Okay. It reminds me a lot of what I got to do with my car when it needs repairs. You get to a point with your car where you're dumping more money for something that eventually is going to get scrapped. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes down to, oh man, this car, I need a new transmission. Well, where's the value here? Now, I get it. If you're broke, well then yeah, you're probably going to have to repair the transmission on the car best you can. You might even take it to somewhere that's a little less reputable. You might know a guy in Hialeah running a garage out of his duplex that took something out. Maybe that's something my grandfather would do from time to time to save money on a car repair. All right. But I get it. His ass was broke coming over from Cuba. All right. Are you telling me State's that freaking broke? Are you that broke ass of a program? Because that's
maybe they need Cousin Yuri.
Right. I'm just saying when we talk like this about NC State, without saying it, you're saying you're broke. Okay.
Wait.
What's that?
We'll try to get into the comments of the year now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Wow, Will. Wolfpack, baby. Wolfpack. Pretty confident I could play better interior defense in my wheelchair. Dang, Will.
Can't lose Will either, by the way. Come on. Oh no.
Pivot, my
Mark
man.
It down. Mark it down, baby. Mark it down.
We got
a call of the year and a comment of the year. I love it.
Bangers in today's After Dark. My goodness. Anyway, to wrap the point, my Colin Cowherd analogy here, it's a lot like having an old car and you got to replace a bunch of stuff. And then it gets to the point of like, is it going to cost me more down the line to keep repairing this thing than it would just to get a new car? Yes, there's more upfront cost, but the maintenance isn't going to be the same. So I feel like that's where we're at with NC State right now. And those are not fun conversations. Okay. And it's not something that I think is so ridiculous to admit when it comes to NC State. You can admit that, yeah, they got some financial problems, but you can also admit, financial problems aside, I don't see a path forward. Because if the question is, well, they need more investment, then I, as somebody who, let's say I'm the person being asked to give money to this stuff, I'd be like, well, why should I? What is my ROI? And I think that's kind of where we're at with NC State. So, here's Aaron. Let's keep the car thing going. What if you still owe a lot on the car load and that car is broken down piece of crap? Yeah, sometimes you just got that sunk cost, dude. You just got that sunk cost.
Even better.
Does the car repair guy have neck tattoos? If so, he's the guy. You know what? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the After Dark. Shout out to everybody who's watching. We'll put the podcast form this on ogtrianglemedia.com. You can be part of OG Fans. Just get the audio version of this if you want to ride around in your car and listen to these calls and listen to these comments. And we will be back tomorrow for a Butcher's Market OG Live. That's going to start at 2:00 here on the YouTube channel with the podcast to follow. And don't forget to hit that OG hat vault, okay? Wraps up shop on February 25th.
Come back again.
And they'll never come back again. Never. I don't know. Maybe we should pivot and make the hats. Forever grateful. Get out. Fire. Forever grateful.
Hey,
F
forever grateful you beat Coach K, but you need to fucking go.
Time to go.
Forever grateful you went to the Final Four, but you're fired.
Get out. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.